Hi, in this video I want to show you how to create an interactive PDF where you can show and hide layers by checking a checkbox. And I'm going to show you how to do this in InDesign. So the end result is going to look like this. This is a PDF and it's got checkboxes here. Let me just run FormMaker on this. And when I uncheck a layer, the circles that are on those layers disappear, so you can have any combination of circles. Okay, so this is the document in InDesign. We've got 3 circles which I created. Each circle has a bit of transparency, so they're all 75% opacity, and which is why you get the nice kind of overlapping effect. And each circle is on a separate layer. So this is on a layer called layer 1, layer 2 over here, this circle, and layer 3. That's how I set it up in InDesign in the document. Then I've got a text frame here, where I just included some text and some more text here. And these check marks are anchored objects. Let me just show hidden characters because it will be perhaps a bit easier to see. And each of these checkboxes has been created with the, if I open the Buttons and Forms panel, with the Buttons and Forms panel, the type is a checkbox, so this is going to turn into a checkbox in Acrobat. I've marked each of these checkboxes here to be selected by default, so it's on by default. And the value, all of these things are important to understand how it's going to work later. The value of the button, it's called, is yes, is the string yes. So when this is checked, its value is yes. When it's not checked, its value isn't yes. That's what we need to know. Let's select, run FormMaker. Okay, so I've run FormMaker. Now FormMaker is a paid for add-on for InDesign, and there's a link to it in the show notes. And we can use that to create the actions that we need. So I'm going to select the first checkbox. Now I've already created this before. I'm going to tell it that this checkbox, I want to run a JavaScript on mouse up. Mouse up is basically click. And now we're going to we want to tell it to run a JavaScript when this is clicked. And then I'll click the edit button. And then I have to input this JavaScript. Okay, so what we've got here is this. It's a fairly simple script, but you do need to know what's going on. So in Acrobat, those layers that we saw, what's called layers in Acrobat are called what are called layers in InDesign are called OCGs, optional content something in Acrobat. So we need to get all the layers and we put them into a variable, OCG array, that's our variable. Then we loop through this variable and check each element of the array to see if the name of the layer is the name of the layer that I'm looking for. So in this case, the checkbox is the one that's supposed to control layer 1. And if I just go back to InDesign a second, layer 1 is the name of it here is layer 1. In other words, I want this checkbox to control the visibility of layer 1 like that. And the name of it is layer 1. I can call it anything I want, but it is called layer 1 right now. Back in the SDK, we're saying once you've hit layer 1, you've found layer 1, then simply change its state. And what do you want the state to be? You want the state to be the same as the state of this checkbox. So the event, the target of the event, that is the checkbox, its value. If its value is yes, then this expression in parentheses evaluates to Boolean true. So the state will also be true. Now, you do need to know scripting. I'm not saying this is straightforward stuff, but it's actually very easy because all you have to do when you edit this script is to change this little string between the quote marks to whatever the name of the layer that you want to show or hide is, and you'll be okay. So I've set this one to layer 1, and that will show and hide layer 1 when this checkbox is checked. And for here, for layer 2, I've done the same thing. If we open it in FormMaker, You see I've changed the name to layer 2 because I wanted to control layer 2, and the same thing for layer 3. And if you've got layers, more layers, other layers that are called something else, you can do exactly the same. Now we've got FormMaker open, we've programmed our buttons, so I can create an interactive PDF. I have to click on this button to use FormMaker, not to use the file menu. We can display the export options dialog before it opens in Acrobat, because again, just to remind you that you do have to have the Create Acrobat layers checked. And I'm going to have this view after exporting, so the PDF is opened immediately in Acrobat, export. Now the final step is to go to the edit menu, and if you've got FormMaker installed, you run FormMaker, and that's clicked, that's done. It doesn't take very much time. And now this PDF should work, so that when I uncheck this box, it controls layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. And if I save this PDF, I can save it. It becomes a completely normal PDF with these scripts embedded. And anybody who's using Adobe Reader to view this PDF document will find that these checkboxes work. They do not need FormMaker. They do not need Acrobat. They just need Adobe's free PDF reader. So that's how you can create checkboxes that control layers in InDesign that carries through to Acrobat. And obviously, instead of having circles, I know that some people want, if they're creating forms, they want questions to appear depending on whether something is selected. They want a specific question to appear, and if not, then it shouldn't appear. So it's in exactly the same way you do that. So that's the way to use FormMaker to create checkboxes, and you can exactly the same technique can be used for drop-down lists and so on, that will show and hide fields in Acrobat if you create an interactive PDF. So I hope you found this useful, and please do subscribe to the IDX's channel if you want more of this type of content. Click the thumbs up, like button if you like this video. And that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. All the best. Bye-bye.